My friends, over 30 years ago, perhaps one of the most common expressions was getting on a high. Well, obviously that had to do with the drug scene. But today I'd like to rescue that phrase and attempt to show it in a more legitimate way. The highest possible happiness for any person, I'm convinced, is to do something useful with their lives, to achieve something or to create something. You know, the interesting thing is that the older we get, we start looking for happiness in more artificial stimulants or material possessions. Our gospel reading tells about a group of people who were on a literal high. Luke says they were in great joy and jubilation. The reason being is that they had done something useful with their lives. They were the 72 people whom Jesus sent out in pairs to prepare for his subsequent visits. The amazing thing that happened was that their presence made a real difference in the lives of people. They had achieved something worthwhile, and their joy knew no bounds. You know, deep within every human being is the need to achieve, to accomplish, and to somehow make something out of our frustrating and at times miserable lives. Consider first the need to do something worthwhile within ourselves. You know, the first business of every person is to build a true character, to have a strong personality that has upon it the stamp of heaven. If the primary purpose of our living is ease and comfort, pleasure and profit, then we are doomed to failure. And what happens when we are faced with calamity or unpleasant experiences? At times, that can destroy our sense of well-being. Strength is a byproduct of struggle. Courage comes when we meet calamity face to face and walk through it with our head held high. And if you and I want to make something worthwhile with ourselves, then trouble can never be an intruder. It is the very stuff of which character is made. Also, note the potential for happiness when we approach our work with that same spirit. We must first recognize the worth and dignity of all honorable work, whether we sweep floors, cook meals, wash clothes, work in factories, labor on assembly lines, plow fields, or answer phones. Whatever we do, as long as we do it to the best of our ability, that's what really matters. You know, the same thing can happen when we approach our homes with the same spirit. We have to quit making our homes making us happy and start working to make our home a happier place. The same can be said of the church. We need the church, but the church also needs you and me. We must build up the church together. We will never be happy unless as Christians we are part of the church. Finally, let's keep in mind that when we are creating or building or doing, we are actually doing business with God. You know, those 72 disciples went to places that Jesus planned to visit. They were forerunners, initiating the work that he would continue. All worthwhile work in some way belongs to the kingdom of God. It was started long before we got here, and it will continue long after we are gone. So we have the opportunity to make a contribution now. Let's do that. let's put our hands to the task. There is no other happiness that can compare with the realization that we are doing something useful with our lives, and in turn, doing something beautiful for God.